Grumble, grumble. So sad. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's week 3 of Me Made May. My name is Heather. My Instagram handle is Rycrafty, as is this channel that you're already watching. Okay, so first off, this is slightly different than previous weeks, because previous weeks, it's only been 2 previous weeks. Week 1 and week 2 of Me Made May, I've recorded the episode on Sunday and either got it up Sunday night or Monday morning. This weekend is weird. It's a long weekend and I don't have internet. So today is the holiday Monday. I noticed Saturday afternoon that I didn't have internet when I had internet in the morning, and it's not fixed yet. Maybe next week. So I'm not certain when you're going to see this. At this point my plan is to bring my personal laptop into work. Like do all the editing of the video and stuff at home here because I don't need internet for that. And then bring my personal laptop into work just to upload it. Still not certain if that's a good idea. I might change my mind. But today is a holiday, Victoria Day, holiday Monday in Canada. So I guess you get 1 extra bonus outfit. For Me Made May, you get 8 days of mostly Me Made clothes instead of 7. So lucky you. And Conan has trapped my one arm under his chin, so I'm going to do this one-handed for now, until he moves. Monday, I wore Me Made's after work. They were the comfy clothes I changed into after whatever it is I wore to work that day. Honestly, I don't remember now. I wore my favorite gray and white striped Greco tee, which I've worn many times so far during Me Made May, and I wear a lot anyway because it's just so comfy. It's boxy, it's cozy, it's soft. I'll wear it for a few hours after work and then put it on the laundry chair and then put it on the next day after work. It was a little cooler that day, so I also pulled out my Closet Core Mile End sweatshirt that I made in this sort of lemongrassy yellow sweatshirting fabric from Blackbird. I bought all those fabrics a few years ago, and those are makes from previous years. I'm not the hugest fan of that sweatshirt. It's partly the color. I just really wanted to make a sweatshirt, and Blackbird only had so many colors of sweatshirting at the time that I decided I had to order. So it's not my favorite color. I could have done top stitching better. I go back and forth on whether I like the croppedness of it. Like that day I really liked it, but I remember when I first finished it, I thought, oh, this is way shorter than I thought. I haven't made the non-wrap version of the Mile End sweatshirt, so I should probably do that. Tuesday, I wore my new Patina Blouse. I finished that in time to wear to work on Tuesday. Sewed the buttons on the night before, did the buttonholes, it all worked out, and I've got it right here. So I think the last time I showed this to you, it might have only needed the buttons, which I ended up doing that Monday night. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making it, I enjoyed wearing it. I've got these great black glass buttons that are probably very hard to see on the busy black and white fabric. It's not black and white, black and purple. Yeah, you can just sort of see them shining. But yeah, it was fun. The collar made me feel a little bit Wednesday Addams, but of course the colors are not Wednesday. And it was nice to wear something slightly looser, because it is quite a boxy fit. I made the size medium, and then I graded out to the large for the hips, because my hip measurement is much more than my waist and my bust measurement. That's usually like that's what puts me in a larger size. But I knew it was oversized, and I didn't just want to make the full size large, because then it was going to be even like looser in the top part. I think when it goes out for the waist, I just sort of blended that line from the medium to the large. Hello. Thank you. For the V-neck, there are various neckline options. I think there's a couple included in the pattern, and then there's a couple other free options on their blog where you can choose, where you can just sort of print out that little piece and then tape it onto your pattern to either raise or lower the V an inch or two. I did it as is, and I wore it to work like this, no camisole underneath. And I think it was okay. It was definitely, I mean, here, let me put it on. Now I'm wearing this shirt as I'm talking about it. So I think, as you can see, like, I felt quite comfortable going to work like this. It is quite deep, but like it's not wide and this depth. If it was this depth and wider, that would be bad. And because like the V is fairly close in, I didn't feel like I was showing off a lot of skin or anything, so I felt quite comfortable wearing this to work. The only thing was I could not bend over in front of anyone because it is loose, right? So it's like an oversized, not quite oversized, but a looser shirt, which again, so comfy. I love it in this fabric. But because of that looseness and that deepness, standing up, sitting up, fine. Bending over to load the paper in the photocopier, just make sure no one else is around. I'm definitely going to wear it to work again. Like, I'm definitely going to wear it out and about. If I wear it to work again, I might wear a camisole or something, just wear a tank top underneath, just so I'm not so concerned about, oh, I have to pick this up, or I have to pick up this box and bend over, as I said, filling up the photocopier. Just so I'm not quite so aware of that. But still, it was fun to wear, fun color. I liked the fabric. I was very happy with my buttons and buttonholes. Someone is cutting their lawn, but I'm going to do this anyway. But yeah, I'm happy with how the collar turned out and the little facing that's on the inside here. The facing could have been neater, but it's enough for me, and it looks perfectly fine from the outside. I did buy a little tool set from Closet Core that I think I showed you last week that has a little chisel for buttonholes and an awl for making perfectly round little holes, and then that button gauge. I'm not sure how I feel about the chisel yet, because this is some sort of rayon. It was a long time ago when I bought it, but it's some sort of rayon-y fabric, and I tried to use it to open the buttonholes. For one thing, it's pretty wide, like it's wider than these buttons, or wider than the buttonholes I made. So I was trying to use one corner of it to sort of open the buttonhole at first, and it wasn't doing anything, and then I thought, okay, let's just test it on some scrap fabric, and it couldn't cut this fabric. Like, it's just rayon, it couldn't cut it. I emailed their customer service and they said to maybe try it with a hammer or try it with a different fabric. I haven't done either of those things yet, but I do want to do some tests and see if I can actually get it to cut anything, because I've used the little awl and that punches straight through. That's sharp like a knife, but this chisel, honestly, I did this, like I pressed it against my finger. It didn't do anything. So more research needed on that. But yeah, so this was my Tuesday me-made wear. Wednesday was a cooler day. Our weather's been up and down. It's been crazy. So Wednesday was a cooler day. I wore one of my Closet Core ebony dresses. I've got a brown one and a green one. I think I wore the green one last week. I wore the brown one this week. It's a big tent dress. It's very cozy for working from home, which is what I did on Wednesday. I think I've mentioned this before on this channel, but when I bought that fabric, that jersey fabric from Blackbird, the color was called Merlot. And just from the picture in the store and I guess my computer settings, I thought it was going to be like a really deep red. It's definitely brown, but I still wear the dress. It's not my favorite. I usually like to wear more color than that, but it's a really comfy dress. Perfect for being comfy, working from home, but still feeling like I'm dressed appropriately. So this past Thursday was my second day where I didn't wear any handmade clothes. It was fine. I just didn't feel like it. I probably needed to do laundry. I can't remember what I wore instead. That's what I have. Friday, no me-mades at work, and then I got home and I put on that same gray and white striped Greco tee. I did do laundry in there somewhere. I promise. But yeah, I wear that shirt multiple times a week. Like just on the weekends, after work, when I just want to be comfy. I wear it so much. I actually have fabric that I bought at Mood. I went to New York this past November, and I made sure to leave myself a morning to go to Mood, which was amazing, and I did buy a little length of some more jersey to make another one. That was just a funky pattern, and then I can have a shirt that is made with fabric from Mood. Don't worry, I bought more things from Mood. Maybe one day I'll pull them out and show them all to you before I sew anything up, because I haven't touched them since I bought them in November. But yeah, my favorite Greco tee, wore it a second time this week. Saturday, I wore another Ensemble Patterns Greco tee. This one is not the gray one, but the cream one with the green stripe. I like the fabric, I like the color, I like the fact that it's a wide stripe, like really wide stripe rather than the little thin ones. It just makes it interesting. But the fabric was cheap, and it's pilling, and I still wear it, but I'm not sure for how much longer just because of all the pills. But again, it's my favorite t-shirt pattern. I'm gonna keep wearing it. And I wore that shirt to the hairdresser to get a haircut. So that was my Saturday. Sunday, I wore my pink Nettie bodysuit. The pattern's for a bodysuit, but I chopped it off and just made a t-shirt with the higher neck and the lower back, which I added a little bow to in the back from a quick tutorial, I believe on Tilly Button's website. So the Nettie bodysuit is a Closet Core Patterns, but the Tilly Buttons did the tutorial for the cute little bow detail at the back, which I think is really fun. Normally I don't wear that shirt terribly often, or at least not on its own without a cardigan or something over it, because I feel like I made a size too small by accident. And I feel like you can actually tell it more because of the bow. When you look at the back, it's sort of pulling, like where it's attached it's pulling, and then it goes out farther in the low back. And it just looks like it just feels too tight, it looks too tight, but I don't know. I felt like wearing it anyway. I liked the color. It was a fun, soft color to wear that day, so it was nice. And people actually saw me in it, and I didn't feel awful about it, because that's when the first internet guy came to try and fix my internet and then told me I'm going to have to wait till next week and a whole other team is going to have to come and fix something else. But yeah, so I still want to try remaking it again in the bigger size to see how I feel about that, because I think I might be a bit more comfortable with it made in the larger size. Although I still haven't gotten rid of the one that I think is too small, and as you can see, I still wear it every so often. If it wasn't memademay, would I have worn it twice in a month? Maybe not. But I am trying to make an effort to wear more of what I've made, and this is part of that. So there we go. And then today, Monday, Holiday Monday, I did have written down the Sophia top by Victory Patterns, which is the fruit pattern top that I was wearing earlier before I changed into my lovely Patina blouse. But yeah, and that Sophia blouse is fresh from the Rubbermaid container it's been living in since last fall. So yesterday, as I had no internet to entertain me, I put on a podcast that was already downloaded on my phone and sorted through my closets. I pulled everything out of my coat closet and put it all back, rearranged everything, and then in my bedroom closets I pulled out the couple plastic containers where I had packed away some summer clothes last year, and I switched the summer clothes out, put some of my heavier sweaters into those containers, and just rearranged my closet space. And it felt really nice. I actually really enjoyed that sort of organizing and going through stuff. But I also told myself as a challenge this week, like I'm already challenging myself to wear more of my handmade clothes, but as a part of the challenge this week, I needed to pick out 7 items, not necessarily me-made, they could be store-bought or handmade, but pick 7 items out of my closet to donate and stick them in a bag. And I had a bag ready, hanging on the closet door, and it was Sunday, I hadn't put anything in it yet, and I thought, okay, now is the time. Find your 7 items and get rid of them. And it was just like a little week's worth of challenge that I gave myself. I ended up filling 2 big carrier bags with clothes that I didn't want anymore. I stopped counting after 7 just because I didn't want to fuss my brain over it, but I hit my goal of 7. I went way past it. I got rid of 2 coats that I loved but were too small and have been too small for a long time. And at this point, I just don't need them anymore. I got rid of a pair of boots that I didn't wear all winter. I was kind of waiting until it was warm again to see if I would wear them, and I just didn't. And that's fine. They were boots that I loved and I wore a lot a few years ago, and then now they're just not my thing anymore. I only got rid of 1 handmade thing, and it's something you saw in a video, I think last week's video. No, it's something you saw in the first week of Me Made Me video. It's that emerald green windswept sweater that I knitted. That I thought I was going to wear to work one day. I went through this on the other video. I thought I was going to wear it to work one day. I put it on, and it was just so tight in the armpits, like unbearably tight, that I immediately took it off and put something else on and wore that to work. And I've been thinking all week about what to do about it, and should I give it away? Should I reclaim the yarn? What should I do? Could I even give away a sweater that I'd spent all that time knitting? It was a Rhinebeck sweater. I wore it to Rhinebeck. In the end, I wasn't going to wear it. It didn't fit. Reclaiming the yarn, which I've done before from some other failed projects, it just seemed like too much effort, and I just wanted to get it. I decided it just needed to go. And like, if I reclaimed the yarn, I couldn't knit a sweater with it because it's too small. The sweater is too small, and that's all the yarn, so I couldn't make it bigger. Sorry for donating winter coats and sweaters in May. Also, as I just started talking about it, I went and checked because I had filled up 2 bags of donations, and I actually donated one of them yesterday. I went for a walk and dropped it off at a nearby thrift store. The one with the sweater in it is still here. If I change my mind before I go on my next walk to the thrift store to stick that in the bin, maybe I'll pull it out and reclaim the yarn, but I'm thinking there's like an 80% chance it's just gonna go. I need to find someone else. Now, there's a couple fun things that I've bought in the past, honestly, a few months. There's one recent thing, one older thing, but I wanted to talk about notions. So, how do you store your thread? I have this little bin. This is the top half of a bento container I bought online. It's got Paddington Bear on it. But I bought that years and years ago, and I've used it for sewing storage. And so I keep my thread in here. And they're all just sort of rolling and rattling around and getting mixed up. And like sometimes I'll buy 2 of one color and they won't be beside each other in there, and that bothers me. And this gets really full. It's a pain. And then I also have bobbins. I've got a little plastic bobbin box that is hard plastic with metal bobbins, and they just rattle in there. And they unroll and they get all tangled, and my thread storage game was not great. I was not a fan, but I didn't know what else to do. Back in March-ish, I was watching Sew Amelia's channel, and she was talking about organizing her, I think it was a video about sort of showing us the organization of her whole storage room. But what got me were these spool pods. So this is sort of bendy silicone, and they've got all these sections. It's nice and bendy. I've got 3 here. They're just sort of nested together right now because these don't have anything in them. But these ones do. How amazing is that? So you've got your spool of thread and the bobbin below it. So you can store your spools and your bobbins. They stay together. So like, because I put all the purple thread I have, or purpley thread I have in this one, I don't have to spend time figuring out like, oh, is this the one that goes with this one? Or does this one go with this? Which is it? You just put it away in its little thing and they stay together. It's amazing. They're so beautiful. And of course, I was putting like colors with like. So that was the purple one. This is the blue one. All my blue threads and their little bobbins. I love it. And now that I've shown you, I'm going to take these 3 and put the rest of my threads into them. And that box can be reused for something else. I'm not going to have the rattly bobbin box hanging around, which is going to be really nice. Because also, that box didn't close very well, so sometimes I dropped it and then bobbins roll everywhere. It was a pain. I'm so happy I found those. Again, they're called spool pods. I'll link the website below. But the website, it is an English website. So it will be shipping from England. It's called Pattern Trace, but I ordered them from England. They arrived just fine. Sure, I had to wait, but it was worth the wait. I'm weirdly happy about having my spools of thread all nicely organized like that. So that I bought a couple months ago and just haven't gotten around to being able to tell you about. Recently, last weekend, a new Fabricland opened in downtown Toronto, which is weird. Like, it's in an area with really fancy shops. And Fabricland is not usually a fancy store. But hey, there's somewhere I can get to easily to buy threads and zips. I love it. And so I went there last weekend just to buy thread. I just needed black thread. And I did buy only black thread. But then I went back. I had seen this huge cutting mat. And so I sew. I don't have a sewing room. I sew in my living room. I've got this little gate leg table. And I had two cutting mats that I'd put on there. I had a 36-inch by 24 that I do most of the cutting on. And then I had a, I think, 12-inch by 18-inch one that I usually put under my sewing machine. And then if I had to cut a bigger piece of something, like if I was making long pants or a long skirt, I would put most of the pattern piece on the larger mat, and then like if the edge of the pant leg stuck off the end, I would shuffle the little cutting mat into place underneath. And sometimes it wasn't enough, like depending what I was cutting out. The table has a scar, just a single scar, but a scar from where I forgot where the big mat was going to end, and I just kept going. And luckily I felt it bump off the edge of the mat, so it's not a long cut in the table, but I did cut the top of the table. But then I was in Fabricland, and I saw this huge cutting mat that is, I think, 32 inches by 55, which seems kind of random to me, but I was in the store, and I thought for so long about it, and I kept thinking, okay, so if that cutting mat is this big, and then I know how much space there is on the table that isn't covered, and okay, this is this big. Like, I spent so much time thinking about it. In the end, I bought it. I was pretty sure it would fit, but I made sure I would be able to return it if it didn't. It fits. It's amazing. It covers all but like a little 2-inch strip of the table. It's a little deeper than the table, but I've just pulled the table out from the wall and then pressed the cutting mat up against the wall. I love it. I love it so much. It's going to protect the table. I leave it out when I put the sewing machine on, so it's just on one part of the mat, and I can still cut smaller things on the side. Buddy. Big fan of the giant cutting mat. And it really helped, because this weekend I cut out the Ebony Dress by Closet Core Patterns, which is this big sort of swooshy wrap dress with grown-on sleeves. You can do a short or a longer version, and the dress comes in sort of short, midi, or maxi length. I cut out the midi length, and I'm so happy I had this giant cutting mat because that pattern piece took up most of my table. I thought about cutting out the maxi dress. I did have enough fabric. I'm using some of the fabric from my big fabric lot. So I did have a full meter left, like a meter and some scraggly bits. But Closet Core, I know, drafts for someone who's much taller than I am. And I wasn't certain if I wanted a full floor length dress, so I cut out the midi. It's probably going to be too long. It might be close to a maxi length on me, we'll see. But right now it's all just in pieces. I haven't sewed a stitch on it. I haven't even done the interfacing. I've just done the cutting out. But I'm making the Ebony Dress because next weekend I'm going to Frock Tales in Hamilton. So I don't live in Hamilton, I live in Toronto. But Hamilton is about an hour and a half hours drive away. It's nearby. And I saw on Instagram that someone was arranging a Frock Tales, so it's just going to be a nice evening where you can go and have a snack and maybe a drink and wear your best handmade clothes and just hang out with a bunch of other people who also make their clothes. So I don't think I know anyone else who's going apart from just sort of watching other people's stories and pictures on Instagram, but I think it'll be fun. Like, there's a built-in conversation starter at that point because we'll all be wearing handmade clothes, and so you can go up to anybody and say, oh, what pattern is that? I like that fabric. I've made that dress. So I think that's going to be really fun. I'm doing that next Saturday. And then I'll be able to report to you back after that for the last memademay dispatch. Am I that boring? I'm so sorry for boring you. But yeah, I'm hoping to do a whole other video about making the Ebony Dress, so I'll leave that there for now. The pieces are staring at me from directly behind the camera. I need to get sewing because it's Monday now, and I need to have this done before Saturday, and I need to get to Hamilton on Saturday, so I'm not going to have much sewing time that day because I have stuff to sort out. So I think the rest of today is going to be a sewing day. Then I'm going to edit the video and somehow upload it to YouTube without internet at my home. It's definitely been an interesting long weekend, but I'm happy that I'm working on the Ebony dress like I was hoping I would this weekend. That was part of the plan. I seem to be doing it. I've started at least, so hopefully that momentum keeps going. Thanks so much for watching and for coming along on this Me Made May 2023 adventure. Let me know in the comments how your Me Made May 2023 has been going. I really enjoy looking at everyone else's photos and videos that they're taking of what they're wearing and how they're integrating their handmade stuff into their wardrobe. I'm extremely boring to this dog. Can you just not snore for a few minutes while I say bye to the nice people? Okay, we're gonna stop him snoring by picking him up. Okay, so before Conan falls asleep again, thank you for watching. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. It really helps. Leave a thumbs up. And I will see you next week. Bye.